If you haven't met me in real life or on the internet, my name is Sydney, and today we're going to do a little aerial flow to go from being on the ground, standing. We are going to do an inversion today, so let's get started. Now, as you've heard me say before, yoga mats aren't super necessary for aerial yoga. So if you're comfortable being on the floor or on your carpet or wherever you happen to be, you don't necessarily need one. I like to have something just for this particular point because we are starting on our backs. And I'm going to face this direction because the most important part to see is the legs. So I know it's kind of weird this angle, but I'm going to start here. You just find that nice relaxed place, taking a couple deep breaths just to center yourself. Big, slow, easy inhale, letting the muscles relax. Big, slow, easy exhale, letting that lower back kind of settle. Breathing in some stillness and relaxation. Breathing out any tension. Take another big, deep inhale through the nose. And another big, deep exhale through the nose. If you've had your legs extended, go ahead and bend them. And start to windshield wiper your knees a couple times. Left to right, side to side. Letting the lower back kind of get a massage against the mat, against the floor, against the carpet. Wiggle the fingers, opening and closing the hands a couple times. Maybe shake your head in the opposite direction of the knees, slowing it down a little bit as you do that. Taking some gentle little twists. Bringing your knees back to center. Go ahead and bring the knees into your chest, wrapping the arms around the knees, giving yourself a big giant hug. Letting everything pull in nice and close. Still settling that lower back down to the mat, really pressing through that lower thoracic spine down towards the earth, letting your tailbone get nice and long. If you'd like, you can take your forehead up towards the knees and squeeze. Hugging the belly towards the spine, giving yourself a nice little ab contraction here. Whenever you're ready, letting that go. Hands come to behind the legs and extend your feet straight up towards the sky. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes a couple times. Getting movement through the ankles, stretching out the legs gently. You don't have to be totally straight. They can have a deep bend in them if you like, or they can be as straight as you can. And then slowly place your ankles into the fabric, letting your legs extend out in front of you. Let your legs sway a little bit side to side just to kind of get used to your fabric for a second, saying hello. Looking at whatever color your fabric happens to be, enjoying that, seeing the gentle swaying motion of your feet. Big deep breath in, and a big deep breath out. Hook the feet so that the toes are out. If you're familiar with ballet, this is kind of that standard ballet position where the heels are together, the toes are facing out away from each other. Bend the knees in, letting the heels get close, then straighten the legs up, getting nice and long. Do this a couple of times. Hands rest wherever makes the most sense, on the belly, by the sides, up overhead, wherever feeling is right for you. Feeling that kind of inner thigh stretch. Feeling the hips get a nice, good opening as you kind of feel that gentle sliding sensation through the backs of the legs. You can keep your hips on the ground. However, if you're feeling strong and like you want to wake up that core a little bit, we are going to change this and make this a little bit more interesting. So on an inhale, extend the legs. On an exhale, lift your hips up. Now, best place for the hands to be is by the sides. They can rest on the belly, they can rest over here, but just to kind of press the arms down into the mat gives you that little bit of a lift, a little bit more power. Continue with that motion if that feels good. Bringing the knees in close, heels in, and then extend the legs, trying to keep the hips up the whole time. Let's go for 3 or 4 rounds of this, or just as many as you think you can manage. Maybe it's more than that. It's your choice here. It's your practice. It's your time on the mat. Engaging through the core a little bit. Extend through those legs and slowly let the hips drop all the way back down. Savoring that feeling of really releasing all that tightness in the legs that you just had from keeping your hips up. relax through the feet, let the feet come back to normal, and we're gonna lift those hips up again. So inhale, hips come up high. Maybe hands on the hips, maybe hands by the sides, whatever feels right to you. Holding and breathing, just like you would hold a plank, looking down the center line of your body so you can see your toes, wiggle them at yourself. Maybe you take a twist to the right. Maybe you take a twist to the left. Coming back to center, you can try those twists again if those feels good, or if this is enough work for you here in the core, stay right here. Big deep breath in, big deep breath out. Take another inhale at the top, and exhale, drop the hips all the way down. The legs are tired, bend them, shake them, wiggle them. If you're feeling good, let's continue. Your right knee is gonna come in toward your chest, holding it in nice and close. Keep the foot in the fabric nice and pointed. You want nice and long. Flexed is kind of wraps around the back of the ankle and wants to drop off your heel. So keep your toe as long as you can. This foot can do whatever you like. Flexed, pointed, floppy, whatever feels right. Holding that knee in close with both or one hand. If when you start to raise your hips you feel a little unsteady, take your left hand by your side and keep your right hand on your knee. But if you feel good, keep both hands on the knee. Inhale, lift those hips up. A little bit of tension here in the belly, keeping that core nice and engaged. You can bring the hand to the back of the thigh if you like and straighten through the leg. You can straighten through the leg entirely and reach up towards your ankle like a Pilates leg if you like. Holding on wherever makes the most sense. Big deep breath in, big deep breath out. Relax, hips come down, extend that leg forward and sweep it down past your fabric. Inhale, point the toe up. Exhale, extend down. Inhale, point the toe up. You can make this a little bit more challenging by lifting the hips off the ground if you so choose. And pointing and flexing with the hips up into the air. It does make this quite the challenge, so go at your own pace here. One more time. Flex, point, ankle to the fabric. Switching sides. Hug this left knee into the chest nice and close. You can go outside the ribs if you want that little bit of a stretch in the hip as well, both hands, or maybe one by the side. Keeping your right toes pointed nice and long. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Inhaling, hips up. Again, one hand can be by the side for a little support here, or both hands can stay here. Hands can stay on the knee as you keep pulling. Hands can come behind the leg, or fullest expression, hands reach up towards the ankle as you pull. Getting a nice good stretch across the back of the leg. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Another big slow inhale. Another big slow exhale, and find your hips down towards the earth. Hands by the sides. Point the toe up towards the sky, left toe. Flex it as you reach down towards the earth. Point it as you bring it back up to the air. Down. Inhale up. Down. Inhale up. If you want to challenge yourself, lift your hips up into the air. Swooping the leg up with you. Pointing, flexing like you're painting a wall with your foot. One more time. Point, hips down, both legs into that fabric. Oh, relax. Let the legs swing. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. You're going to shimmy your body underneath your fabric. So you want to bring the knees under. You want to bring the fabric right underneath your knees. You may take some adjustment. Hopefully yours is low enough that you can manage this without too much. Now the back of your hips should theoretically be off of the ground. So you should be able to pass your arm underneath the back of your hip bones and just find a nice quiet sway here, hanging from the backs of the knees. If your fabric is lower or higher than this allows for, you can hang by the ankles again and do the same. But if you can manage it, finding yourself behind the knees, really getting that decompression to the lower spine. And also, hands come behind the head. Arms nice and wide. Letting those elbows stretch out for a second. We are going to go a little bit into the core again. So release that sway. Take a big deep breath in. And on an exhale, small crunch. The smallest crunch you've ever done. Looking toward your knees and back down. Press your knees into the fabric. Lift the head and shoulders up again. And back. Let's do 5 all together. So this is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. Back to the center. Now you can absolutely take yourself out of your fabric, roll onto your side, and stand on up. If you would like to try getting up from your back into a seated position into your fabric, you're welcome to watch first and then try it on your own. Or again, you can stand up and just sit into your fabric normally. If you would like to try a small climb, reach your arms up to that fabric right by your knees. One hand over the other pulls you up and sits you into your fabric, where you pause and take a big deep breath. I'm going to switch around so I'm facing you guys. You can take a little swing. Now you're going to cross your right knee over your left, hooking your toes behind if you can, and then wrap your arms around in front of you. Elbows come towards each other. Right elbow comes under left as you come into an eagle. Now this is the easiest version. You can bring your elbows between the two pieces of your fabric and wrap your arms here. It's entirely up to you. Your left leg might be a little bit more forward, or you can totally hug it back. Try to think long spine, tall shoulders. Unravel the hands, swing those legs. Maybe bring your feet down and kind of resettle the fabric on those hips if you need to. And then the left knee crosses over the right, finding that same position. Your foot can stay on the ground if that feels better to you, or you can lift the knees up a little higher. Knee can be forward, knee can be tucked back. Arms reach around. Left arm under right. Having the fabric in your shoulders does create a bit of tension. So this is a little bit of a shoulder workout if you keep the fabric on the inside of your shoulders. Otherwise, working on your balance here. Left arm under right. Fingers coming together, backs of the hands coming together wherever your eagle is. Finding your center and breathing. Slowly releasing, grabbing onto both pieces of your fabric, setting your feet down, and standing all the way up, reaching the arms out. Separate your feet wide, wider than the hips, and turn to the right, and turn to the left. To the right, to the left. 2 more times. Right, left, right, left. I'm going to go ahead and move my handy dandy little mat here out of the way. And then I'm going to come behind my fabric. Space the fabric wider than your hips, pressing the fabric out. You want to be right underneath your fabric, so it's not too far forward and not too far back. You're going to take an easy forward fold, just here. If your fabric is super high, this is going to feel like it's cutting off some circulation into the hips, so try to have a lower height if you can. And you want the fabric to be somewhere underneath those hip bones so you can fold. So right about the top of the thighs is where you're thinking, not up into the belly because it'll feel like you're wearing a really tight corset. Right on top of the thighs. Fold over your fabric, leaning all the way down and letting the hands come down to the mat with you. Take a second here, bend through the knees, one at a time. Shake your head yes, shake your head no.
And then you're going to move into a downward facing dog. So walk the hands forward, walk the feet back until you feel that fabric holding your hips. Now you don't have to place all of your weight into the hammock just yet. You can have plenty of weight between the hands and between the feet. What you're looking for is a gentle little pressure of that fabric into your hips. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Take your left hand a slightly more center and reach your right hand back to touch your shoulder blades. Big slow easy inhale. Big slow easy exhale. Switch the hands. Right hand more centered. Left hand reaches up to touch the shoulder blades. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out.